I caught my wife feeding our baby strange meat. She was already chewing when I walked in. Not her, our daughter. Tiny mouth working, teeth too small to break what she'd been given. I froze in the doorway. The smell was wrong. Not like chicken, not like beef. Something metallic, heavy. My wife glanced up, her eyes too calm. "Protein is protein," she said, shoving another morsel toward the baby's lips. "Don't question my parenting." I didn't move. I didn't speak. My hands stayed loose at my sides, because if I tightened them, I might not unclench. I swallowed the taste rising in my throat. "What is it?" I asked. She didn't blink. "Don't be dramatic." The sound of my daughter's small, wet chewing filled the room. That's when I decided. I would not argue, I would not shout. I would find out. Quietly. She didn't see me pocket a piece of it when she turned her back to wipe the baby's face. That night, she leaned into me in bed, her breathing even, her hand heavy on my chest. I stared at the ceiling. We'd been married 6 years. I thought I knew every curve of her, every shade of her moods. But that smell, it still clung to me. She had changed after the baby was born. Subtle at first, a sharper edge to her voice, a shorter patience. And then there were the disappearances. 2 hours for grocery shopping that yielded only a loaf of bread. Her phone always flipped face down on the table. I told myself it was exhaustion, hormones, postpartum fog. But I had felt her pulling away. And I had felt something else, like a wall she had built inside herself that I was no longer allowed to cross. Now I wondered if she had built that wall to keep me from seeing what was on the other side. I turned my head toward her in the dark. She looked peaceful, like someone who believed she was safe. The next morning I dropped the sample at a private lab. A small, unmarked envelope, no explanation, just a request for DNA analysis. The tech glanced at me. "You'll get a call when it's ready." Days passed. I didn't let my rhythm change. I still came home at the usual time, I still kissed my daughter's hair, still nodded when my wife complained about the neighbors, still poured her tea the way she liked it, honey first, then milk. But I watched her feed our daughter, watched the way she cut certain meats into cubes so precise they looked measured, watched how she kept the packages hidden, as if the fridge itself wasn't safe. I started checking her trash. No labels, no receipts, nothing that told me where it came from. And yet, she was careful with everything else, almost too careful. That's how I knew she thought she could outsmart me. The call came on a Wednesday. "Sir, you need to pick up your child, immediately, and drive to the nearest police station." The voice shook. "What did you find?" I asked. A pause. Then, "It's human." I closed my eyes. Not in disbelief, in confirmation. I drove straight to the house. My wife was in the kitchen, rinsing strawberries. "Where's the baby?" I asked. "In her crib." "Why?" I stepped forward, slow, slid a folded report across the counter. Her eyes dropped to it. She read only the first line before her hands began to tremble. You tested it?" she whispered. "Yes." Silence. Then the faintest sound, the clock ticking on the wall. She backed away, clutching the counter like it might save her from drowning. I walked past her, into the nursery. Our daughter looked up at me, mouth still red from strawberries. I lifted her, pressing her head into my neck. When I turned back, my wife was standing in the doorway, her lips parted, as if there were words she wanted to find but couldn't. "I'm taking her," I said, my voice even. "You won't see her again." "You can't." "I can. The police will handle the rest." Her face crumpled, not in guilt, but in fear. Not fear of losing me, fear of losing control. I didn't raise my voice, didn't slam a door. I simply walked out. Her scream followed me down the hallway, thin and breaking, like glass under pressure. The police station smelled like disinfectant and paper. They took my statement, took the report, took my wife. By nightfall, the house was mine again, quiet. I fed my daughter, real food. watched her chew slowly, unaware of the storm that had passed over her life. People say betrayal feels like a knife in the back. They're wrong. It's colder than that, cleaner. It's the silence between your heartbeat and your breath when you realize the person you trusted most was only ever wearing a mask. I laid my daughter in her crib and turned off the light. She would never know, and I would never forgive. Some things you cut out completely.